In June of last year, of 2011, one of the accomplishments of the Cuomo administration was to pass, at the 11th hour, the Power New York Act of 2011. And the Power New York Act of 2011 basically included a new Article 10. And Article 10 refers to the article in the state's public service utilities law that has to do with power plant siting. So the Power New York Act has not only revived the intervenor funding, it has expanded it so that it takes place at the pre-application stage and at the application stage. But the other groundbreaking element in the Power New York Act was the requirement for the first time in the United States that when a power plant is proposed to be sited in the community, that an environmental justice analysis must be done, and it must be determined whether the proposed power plant's siting and its continuing operation in the community represents a disproportionate, has significant and adverse disproportionate impacts on that community. And if it's found to have those significant and adverse disproportionate impacts, then that applicant, in order to move forward, in order to get the certificate necessary to site that power plant, must enter into basically different types of stipulation agreements, must offset, mitigate, or minimize those impacts on that particular community in order to have any chance whatsoever of getting the certificate necessary to site the power plant. The comment period closes on March 15th, and the next Tuesday, starting at 3 p.m., there will be a public hearing on these regulations in New York City. It will be at the Department of Public Service, which is at 90 Church Street, 4th floor. And one of the elements that was decided, DEC decided, was that the first thing that an applicant would have to do is determine whether there was an environmental justice area present in what's called the impact study area. Right now, the definition of what represents an environmental justice area is linked to various demographic factors. We will look at the percentage of minorities in that particular area. We will look at the percentage of low income, of individuals who qualify as low income under the regulations. And if you have an environmental justice area, and this is done by census block, if you have an environmental justice area in the impact study area, that means that you will need to do a disproportionate impact analysis. The applicant in the process has to submit to the state what's called a preliminary scoping statement. And that preliminary scoping statement has a number of requirements in it. It requires you to put forward what kinds of studies you're going to do relevant to the siting of the power plant. It asks you to provide physical characteristics or other characteristics about the community that we're talking about siting the power plant.
The ultimate goals of Plan EJ 2014 are to increase our protection of human health and the environment, and do so in particular in overburdened communities that have been really the bearer of a lot of the pollution that support our modern lifestyle. To empower communities to take action to improve their health and their environment with resources and information and things of that nature. And then where it's necessary to have partnerships with federal, state, and local agencies, tribal governments, and community organizations, we'll make those connections so that we can advance our environmental justice goals to create healthy and livable communities. We're exploring ways of getting the public more meaningfully involved in how the rules are made. That is, giving people information about the rules well in advance of when the rules will be drafted, explaining what the rules are going to be about. You can Google Plan EJ 2014, it's so easy, and there is a 2-pager, and then there's like 135 pages, I think, booklet that you can review. But you can go through and look at the implementation plan and see how our plan works, and tell us what you think. The Plan EJ 2014 is called 2014 because it's intended to mark the 20th anniversary of President Clinton's signing of Executive Order 12898. And so what we're hoping is that we'll make substantial progress towards our goals by then. But in the meantime, we've developed metrics and measures to gauge our progress. And each year we're going to release a progress report of sorts, an annual report that details some of these successes, some of the lessons that we've learned, and identify the challenges that we need to meet. And hopefully we can all meet them